What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hope you're having a good one. What we got to talk about today is why I think the 2022 midterms will be far more important than the 2020 election. And the reason why is because if you look at the 2020 election, Democrats obviously stayed in control of the House. They won the executive because Joey B and Kamala's in there. But with the Senate, they sort of kind of won, but on the other hand, they really didn't. So it's that weird 50-50 split with Kamala being the tiebreaker if there ever was a true 50-50 split on a certain bill. But they really haven't gotten a lot passed so far. And at the time of recording this video, they're only in office for, I think, over 3 months, right? We're coming up on 4 months now. But still, they touted that they were going to get so much done. And really the biggest legislation, or we'll just say the biggest proposals, well, they've just remained proposals because they're trying to test the water. They're trying to see, okay, how's everyone feeling about this? Do we have the votes? Because they don't want to have something get shot down because then whatever it is they were trying to get passed, it loses credibility. So the reason why I think the 2022 midterms will be far more important is because it's going to control the fate of the nation. Are we going to really switch to a socialist country, or will we remain the America that we know? And I'm not just saying that to try and, say something shocking, be a conspiracy theorist. It's legitimate because if you take a look at what the Democrats have proposed, at least on the campaign trail, we're talking about student loan bailouts. We're talking about free and universal health care. And obviously, if we were to bail out students, then education would become free. We're talking about sweeping gun control, some of the strictest gun control since the 94 assault weapons ban. How about not only amnesty for illegal aliens, but flat out citizenship for 11 million plus illegal aliens. And the list goes on. So you got to listen. When somebody tells you, who they are or shows you who they are, well, take their word for it. Joe Biden is this Trojan horse, in my opinion. They kind of float him around as, well, he's old Joey B, you're comfortable with him. Don't worry. Hey, he's your moderate Democrat. Well, look at who's kind of controlling everything right now. We know this guy, even if he makes it through his first term, he's not all there. We already know that, but there's no way he's making it through a second term if he gets elected again. He's a transition candidate. But anyway, the fate of the nation is going to be determined based on the outcome of the 2022 midterms. And there's one particular Democrat that's holding the line right now. He is holding up the floodgates, so to speak. And his name's Joe Manchin. He's a Democratic senator from West Virginia. And he's not a Democrat anymore. They have pushed him way more to the right. And he's an old school Democrat, so that's why he really does fall in lines of more of a moderate political candidate. But he opposes the filibuster, or ending the filibuster, so to speak. So what that would mean is, say we were to end the filibuster, now instead of needing 66 or 67 votes, a 2/3 majority to get a lot of legislation passed, well, you would only need a simple majority, which is what Democrats have right now. But with Joe Manchin breaking party rank, well, that makes it to where ending the filibuster, that's not going to be a thing unless Democrats pick up way more seats in 2022. So it's kind of crazy to think that who's holding America back from really switching, to the fast lane of, on the way to socialism is a Democrat. It's kind of crazy to think that, but it really is the truth. But the one thing to keep in mind is, and I think this is really important, is people are going to vote for Democrats so long as they feel helpless. And what I mean by that is, if people feel like there's no way out, there's no pathway to success, they're going to vote for Democrats. Why? Because Democrats promise them the world. I'll give you free this, free that, redistribute wealth. I'm going to make everything easy for you, remove all the sharp edges. But if people feel like there is a way out, like there is light at the end of the tunnel, they're not going to vote for Democrats. So the reason why I'm making the video is, one, I do think it's important to talk about, and I understand we're well over a year, until the 2022 midterms, but I want to kind of start talking about it now because, again, if you're someone that, well, and here's the thing, maybe you're someone who wants to have a lot of Democratic proposals rammed through, then, hey, you can still listen to the video, but then obviously you're going to be trying to convince everyone and follow everyone, bolster them so they get their viewpoint out there, and, well, the Democrats take control of the Senate, truly take control of the Senate in 2022. But if you're on the other end, well, I think it's going to be way more important to discuss why you don't want Democrats to take control in 2022. And again, that's going to turn Joe Biden from a lame duck president to the most progressive president in his final 2 years, because the fast lane will just completely be open, right? Like, that bridge will have been built and they can just ram bill after bill as much as they want until, basically what would happen is, and I'll kind of take my little exit right here, is if Democrats were to win in 2022, the biggest bill that they would pass through would be the not only amnesty, but the pathway to citizenship for 11 million plus illegal aliens. And I don't know if I mentioned it already, but it's always funny how 11 million is always the number that remains the same. Like, they've been touting that number since, like 2010, 2008. We know it's way more than that. But if you make it to where all those illegal aliens now become citizens, well, they have the right to vote. Who do you think they're going to vote for? Okay? I mean, it's very easy to, when you're coming to a brand new country, you get your citizenship, and you have one party that says, you need to work for yourself, support yourself, don't look at me for help. And then you say, well, that was kind of cruel, but okay, I gotcha. And then you look over here and someone's like, oh, we're going to give you free healthcare. We're going to give you free housing, free education. We will redistribute wealth. We're going to fight for you. We're going to remove all the sharp edges. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, they really hand it to you on a silver platter of who it is you're going to want to vote for. And part of that is why I think we need legitimate leaders in the Republican Party, like people who can actually talk or discuss things and lay them out in a way that people can understand, because there's too many Republicans that are spineless and they'll say their little piece and then they'll get called out for it because they fail to explain why they hold that position. For example, why the government can't print a bunch of money, but they're so spineless, and whenever they get called out, they kind of shiver away. And then who do you think looks like the righteous one? Well, of course, the Democrat. I know I went off on a tangent, but that's, again, a video in and of itself. But I think it was important, or I thought it was important, to make a video on the midterm elections, because I really do feel the fate of America is in the hands of that election. And I'm someone who doesn't want to see America fall to, socialism. A lot of people will say, well, whether it's true communism or, I guess, true socialism, well, it's never been tried. We know it's been tried, okay? But it's like, you can't get through to certain people. So, well, if you can't get through to certain people, you got to start talking to people that maybe aren't set in their ways just yet. You're always going to have a new generation up and coming, people coming out of high school, and their minds are going to be fresh. They're going to be open to ideas. But if you're someone who maybe gets a little pissed off at politics because you believe the Democrats stole the 2020 election, all right, let's just say that's the case for the second, and you say, well, I'm done with politics, right? We're never going to win again. Well, if you never step up to the plate and give your concerns to this new and upcoming generation, well, you're going to leave the table open for one party to dominate the narrative. And, if you want that to happen, if you're too fed up with politics, hey, I guess more power to you. But someone like myself, I don't want to see that happen. This doesn't mean that I'm always going to be beholden to the Republican Party. I mean, I don't even consider myself a Republican. Libertarian, conservative, that's way different than a Republican. I think Republicans, or rhinos, some people even call them, they're just big government Democrats, but they slap a pro-America sticker on themselves, and that's how they get votes. That's just my opinion. But listen, I don't want to get the video too long, so let me know your thoughts on the 2022 midterms. Do you agree that they will be far more important than the 2020 election? Do you disagree? Do you think the past election was the most important and nothing will compare, or nothing will be beholden to it in comparison? So let me know your thoughts on that. But listen, I appreciate you checking out the video, and I hope to see you again sometime soon.